What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Okay. Drop a like on the stream when you come in, guys. Great to be back talking to you all. Hopefully you're well. Let's see what's happening as the markets open in the US. Say hello in the chat, guys. Hey, Warren. How you doing, mate? Got some coffee there. Fantastic. Early there in Wyoming, so coffee time for sure. Who else is here with us? Say good day in the chat. It's the first stream back from Australia, is it? I think this is the first stream back in Australia, huh? Hey, Nico. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. SPX with a nice little pop. Nice bounce off this support level down here. Nice pop to the upside. Got a bit of a consolidation now. Snow day. Jeez. Snow day today in Wyoming. VIX is gapping down here. This is kind of the bounce area down here for VIX. So we could see it go down a little bit further. This would probably coincide with a bit of a rally, probably up to 4531. And then potentially at 4531 is when we might have a bit of a shorting opportunity here on SPX, whether it's that deep or it's just that deep. Probably that one there looks reasonable to me, because that would kind of coincide with the VIX moving down into our bounce area, down into this bounce zone here. All right, say hello when you come in the stream, drop a like. If you've got any questions on specific trades or anything like that, throw them into the chat for me, okay? We've got XAU Euro. This is an active trade. Maybe not. Singapore 30 looks pretty good for a bounce there. Let's check out what BTC is up to. BTC usually provides us with a little bit of action. Darth Maul candle forming here, almost like a Darth Maul candle. It's where, you know, you've got a oh, just absolutely plummeting, huh? Euro USD 1 hour. All right, I'll take a look. Hey Chris, how you doing, mate? Hey Björn, good to see you. Welcome. A little bit of volatility here on BTC on the 15-minute time frame. So this is like a Darth Maul candle where you've got a candle that looks something like that, right? Two long wicks on either side and then like a small body in the middle. BTC RTD flipping to up maybe. Yeah. BTC RTD is looking up. We've been consolidating above this level here at 43750. So this consolidation above 43750 is very good for BTC, right? It's very good for BTC to take a level and then hold that level, right? You know, not do what it did here, instead take it and then consolidate above it, hold it, form some sort of a bull pennant, and then potentially move into the next leg to the upside. Still needs to close above on the 1 day time frame. You know, we could see this just come back below here, but we do need to see it close above on the 1 day time frame and get the candle closed there for RTD to actually flip up, because at this stage right now, this could just absolutely nuke to the downside. Local could then cross into a downtrend again, and then we're back in like a sideways market or something like that again. So we want to see a 1 day close above 43,750. That'll be a really bullish sign for BTC. And then our next target will be kind of somewhere around 50K. And we'll be looking out for this level here at 45,300-ish along the way as well. So Yeah, looks like a good sign for BTC. Euro USD 1 hour. One hour trade on Euro USD. I don't. There's no sonar trade here. Perhaps you're talking about a trade like that there, maybe, which looks pretty reasonable. I think that looks pretty reasonable as a trade. I mean, it's obviously a very weak RTD, but you're kind of backing here that we're forming into a new uptrend. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then you're betting basically that that is going to be the next higher low. Yeah. It looks okay. It looks reasonable, but you might be able to go find a trade with a better RTD than this, though. In general, Euro USD RTD doesn't give me a huge amount of confidence. Yeah, up to you. I was about to ask about XAU Euro 15 minutes. Yeah, this one here showed up 2 hours ago. We've got... You know, I think the trade is probably still valid, Chris. I really think the trade is probably still valid. Something like that there. I think it's a valid trade still. If we look, what we're trying to see here is the dump down into that level. Decent RTD, good level, good area, fresh test. If it gets there, I think it's a pretty good trade. XAU Euro 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look. Did we test this level previously? We may have just caught an entry here. One entry with this immediate dump here to the downside. Maybe caught an entry there, maybe not. Actually, I think it missed. I think we talked about this in the funding session, actually, where these were just missing. But in general, like this looks like a nice deviation away from the mean in general. So yeah. Hey PK, good to see you, mate. Welcome. Great, thank you, Tom. I placed it as it was. Fantastic. Let's take another look at BTC. I'm very interested to see what BTC does here, and then I probably want to have a look at Ethereum as well and see what ETH is doing, just as like a proxy for the altcoin market. Entry 1 is on round S. Yeah. So ETH is still in a downtrend. BTC has started an uptrend. So, you know, what usually happens when a new uptrend forms in crypto is BTC starts moving to the upside, moves to the upside, clears some like key levels. Sometimes it clears like, maybe that'll be 50K. Then it starts to consolidate, and then in that consolidation is when the altcoin market moves. And that is when ETH would take 37,500. It would take this here, then it can start to consolidate, then the smaller alts would start to run, and each of these moves is kind of bigger and bigger on each of the smaller altcoins. You know, those ones that were crushed like 80%, they're gonna run harder than BTC, but usually what happens is new money flows into BTC, new money flows into ETH, then that money moves into altcoins once BTC becomes like, you know, not as sexy anymore and it starts to consolidate a little bit. Pound Aussie dollar. Pound Aussie dollar 4 hour, to repeat it or fine. What do you think? Let me take a look, huh? Yeah, I mean, for me, it has played out quite a few times already. Like, this would be a repeated trade. 1, 2, 3, maybe you could call that 4. And then if it comes down again, it's like a lot of tests all on this same level. It has repeated a lot of times. Yeah, it has repeated a few too many times for me, Bjorn, for sure. Check out ETH 4-hour sonar trade. Oh, it's coming out of the level now. Okay, very interesting. So we caught an entry 1 here. Now moving through, we want to just catch TP1. Hey, Eric. Good to see you, mate. Welcome, welcome. It's moving out of the level pretty nicely here. It is moving out pretty nicely. Let's have a look and see what SPX is doing. I think SPX is probably moving to the downside. Why is S not pressing? SPX 500. We got some downside movement on SPX. Not really, actually. Consolidating above this level here, which is, you know, generally a bullish sign. If you see a consolidation above a key level, it's generally bullish. If you see a consolidation below a key level, it's generally bearish. So, you know, we're seeing a bit of a consolidation here. Generally, you know, a bullish looking sign, especially given we've got this like bull pennant here forming. Not too bad at all. We did have a little fake out of the pennant there before, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here on SPX, whether or not we continue on to the upside. So yeah, interesting to see this. I guess BTC is kind of moving to the downside. That's what we just saw right now. BTC moving to the downside a little bit. So that's obviously going to see ETH moving to the downside too. Again, consolidating above a key level here. ETH kind of not really holding that level. So maybe the alts are weaker than BTC, a lot weaker than BTC at the moment. Remember, ETH, alts in general are still in downtrends. BTC is the only thing that's really moved into that uptrend. So, you know, we might see a quick TP1. There is some market structure around there. So, you know, it is reasonable to move back through, fill up the gap that was kind of formed with this 1, 2, 3, 4 candlesticks all to the upside. Fill that up, go back to the market structure, and then come back to the upside. And that's going to be like starting to really form in some higher lows and higher highs. And that could move us into that uptrend that we're already seeing in BTC as well. And yes, the local RTD has started moving up, overall strength weakening. Yeah, so it's moving up because obviously BTC is moving up. You can see here just from a price action perspective how we do have, you know, this trend forming at the moment. But, you know, the bears could still maintain this level here. And like I said before, you know, we might see that TP1 level there become where that new local higher low comes in, potentially, assuming that it goes in the same direction as what BTC is right now. Now, remember, if BTC just nukes back through 43,750, if BTC can't hold 43,750 and we push back down into like this structure down here, ETH will absolutely nuke as well, and you might even catch a TP3, right? So what happens here with BTC on this 43,750 level is very important for the cryptocurrency market in general. Okay, very important for the crypto market in general, and it's, you know, really goes hand in hand with this S&P 500 level right here. If this nukes out of that level right there, if SPX doesn't hold this level, BTC likely doesn't hold that level. ETH then pushes to the downside, crypto in general pushes to the downside, stocks move to the downside, all risk on markets begin moving to the downside once again. It's all about whether or not S&P 500 can maintain that level right there, and as an extension of that, whether or not BTC can hold that level right there, okay? So bear that in mind when you are looking at these markets. You know, obviously I always talk about BTC, I always talk about SP 500, and that's kind of what you got to be thinking about if you're, you know, considering this trade on Ethereum. You know, what does the result of this market right here doing that look like for ETH? And the same thing with BTC as well. But in general, this is looking relatively good right now. We are respecting this level in general. I'd love to see this candle, this 4-hour candle in 2 hours from now close below the level. If we do see that, that gives a great looking sign that we may catch a TP1. And we're in the money here on this one. All right. What else we got going on here in these markets? Singapore 30 on the 1-day time frame looks pretty good. Just missed that entry there. That's a shame that we just missed that entry there. But, you know, in general, this does look like it's, you know, cutting a bit of a bottom in here, and we're now moving to the upside. Would have loved for that candle that closed yesterday to just come down and catch that entry a little bit further. That would have been really nice. But, you know, it is what it is. The good news is that the level is obviously very good. And also, you know, our bias is looking right as well. You know, we're right in terms of our bias, which is always a good sign. NASDAQ 100, obviously we had a further TP1 and 2 taken before. I talked about this in the weekly market review as well, I think. So now we've got a little bit of a rally here in NASDAQ 100. Again, if S&P 500 doesn't hold this level here, then NASDAQ 100 most likely continues on to the downside. So if you're in, you know, all 3 positions here, you're moved to break even right now, and you're thinking like, oh, do I have a chance here of catching a TP3? It's all about, you know, if SPX holds this level. If we hold this level and continue on to the upside, probably NASDAQ 100 moves to the upside at the same time as well. If SPX nukes down through here and we move back down to 43.75, then we could see a, you know, NASDAQ 100 push to the downside a bit further, maybe come down and test those previous lows, catch a TP3, all right? So there is the potential of that happening there. But what else is interesting to me? Okay, so we've got an entry here on XAU Euro. Okay, so XAU Euro on the 1-day time frame. Again, I would probably consider that trade right there. Or the longer trade, okay? So the shorter trade, obviously, you know, you have more likelihood of catching those TPs, but you don't have the protection of this 75% alignment level down here. But you might get that little bounce straight into TP1 and then out at break even, and you make a little bit of money from that right there. But in general, these metal strength trades look pretty reasonable in general. I like the idea of these metal strength trades. So yeah, I do like the idea of metal strength trades, and this doesn't make this makes a lot of sense because, you know, we've got a low, a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. This could be the area that next higher low kind of forms. You know, we could form something like that here and then continue on to the upside, have the next higher low right there, or even down here somewhere. We still have the benefit of having that deep stop loss. We're well protected by this stop loss here. We're very well protected. We've got a very good chance of getting out of break even with the stop loss where it is on this longer trade. You know, you might trade it, like I said, on the 4-hour time frame or something like that instead, and this might be your trade on the 4-hour time frame if you're that way inclined. And obviously, you know, you don't have the same kind of protection from that with that stop loss if you were to do that instead. Another metal long trade, XAG-USD. This is a 1-day time frame trade. Gold. Choppy. Chop. Right? Just... sorry, silver. Just choppy. Just choppy. Now, X mode is framing the market up quite well here. You know, it has framed the market up pretty well, but basically what you're doing is you're taking a long here in the middle of a ranging market, right? So you got to notice here that obviously this market is ranging right now between these extension levels on X mode. And could we move to the upside and get back up to this level here? Yeah, but we could also move down here as well. Basically, we're going long in the middle of a ranging market right now. And you can see that it's ranging just by looking at this RTD and seeing how the RTD is kind of doing this, these kind of interactions with each other. Yeah, XAG silver. Yeah, this is not as... It doesn't intrigue me as much as the gold euro trade that I looked at before. This silver USD trade. All right, doesn't intrigue me as much as the gold positions that we're looking at right now. Okay, just because you can see the range, you can see that it's the middle of the range, and right now we're actually trading below the entry level as well. So we're kind of thinking like, we're definitely not placing the trade at this stage right now, okay? So we don't want to place it right now, and really I probably wouldn't be placing this even if we took the level again, because it is in the middle of this range. Where I'd like to trade silver and is in something like that there, this price action here, that's reasonable to trade it. This price action right here, all of that right there. But not in this ranging market. Pretty much the same story here. Oh, that was what I just looked at. XAG euro, silver euro. So I'd say this silver euro position is almost the same story. Probably a little bit more reasonable, but still the middle of a ranging market more or less here on this silver position against euro. So again, it doesn't intrigue me as much as the gold positions that we were looking at before. Hey, Tom. Hey, great to see you here, mate. Great to have you here on your day off, Tomo. How's everything going, mate? It's been a while since we caught up. GBP USD, let's have a look. Really compressed RTD. You can see here we've got a very compressed RTD. There's a couple of things I like about the trade. There's a few things that I don't like about the trade. Let's have a look first of all at what I really like about the trade. Nice trend line forming here. You know, we've got, you know, what looks like a bullish move here, right? So we've got a move to the upside, a bit of a consolidation. This could now break to the upside or the downside. What sometimes happens here is we get the break to the downside, we punch it into some support, into a trend line, and then move back up to the upside again. Obviously, we've got the confluence of a trend line along with a horizontal level here as well. Continue on to the upside here. I don't mind that idea. What I don't like about the trade is just how weak this RTD is. So I don't like how weak the RTD is. The RTD is just so weak right now, simply because you can see we've got this, you know, really choppy looking consolidation. If we zoom in here to like this lower time frame, you'll be able to see how choppy this market looks right here on the 15-minute time frame. And it's this chop right here that's causing this local RTD to kind of just not really know where it's going, basically. Okay, now from a price action perspective, I tend to like the trade because I like having the level, I like having the price move through, I like the consolidation above, dump back down, catch an entry, move back to the bottom of the consolidation. So that would give me a pretty reasonable chance at a TP1 at least, right? And you know, another good thing, we do have our stop loss below this previous swing low. We've got a low, a higher low. If we come through here, test that, and then continue up, we potentially have another higher low forming here in this market. But yeah, the RTD is probably the one thing that I'm like, a little bit iffy. But in general, I think it's reasonable. AYEFF. Why was this downvoted? Just curious. So I'm pretty sure this would have been downvoted here. You can see where it's kind of spawning. It's basically spawning like right on top of this level right here. That would be the biggest reason I would say that this was downvoted. Yeah, just because of where it was formed here. Did I look at ETH already? Yeah, I did look at ETH. I'll look at it again though, because I've got a question on BTC as well. So I'll jump on that. For Markod, I'll jump on the BTC question in a second. I believe there's actually a 4-hour trade here somewhere, isn't there? Yeah, cool. So, you know, we're seeing some short-term downside on crypto at the moment, short-term downside on BTC a little bit as well. There is a good chance of catching a TP1 here, I believe. Just from a structural perspective, I mentioned before, we've got that structure there. Price will want to move back into that structural area, then continue on to the upside if it's going to continue moving up, right? If we're going to continue this series here like that, then price will probably want to go and find that structure just like it has done previously, just like it has done previously here. You know, if we look at this price action here and this price action here, it's relatively similar structure. You can see we've got this consolidation, move to the upside, move back down, retest top of consolidation, then move back up, consolidation, move to the upside, move back down, retest top of consolidation, and move back up. Something similar to that is what we would like to see from a bearish perspective. Given that, you know, we've only really got one entry here and we just want to catch our TP1, and then probably we're not looking to take this trade again after that. So, you know, that's what makes it for what I believe to be still reasonable to potentially catch that TP1. I've got a question about BTC. Hi Tom, BTC daily chart. Do you think we are having a double top and we are going to retest the 37.5 because we broke the falling wedge and we don't have any retest daily? Let's look. Uh, 37.5 is the level here that you are considering a retest here on. Yeah, I mean, at this stage right now, we could potentially see a little bit of a range through here and then a move to the upside. It all depends on obviously this level right here. What my biggest thought is about whether we go and retest 37,500 is whether we hold 43,750. If we can't hold 43,750, then yes, I would be looking at the 37,500 level to be where we head towards. Perhaps then we have some sort of chop through there, some sort of range through there before we continue on up, or we continue on down out of that there and potentially look for 25k, or we move through and look for 50k from that point right there. Now, if we maintain 43,750, if that's what happens and we maintain that level, now obviously we are moving through it right now, but this could just suction back up again, and it could just be, you know, like it could be nothing, and we need to wait for a candle to close. We've got 2 hours for this candle to close. But if we hold on to 43,750, then in all likelihood, we probably do something like this here and then start to form this move into 50k from there, right? And then at 50k is where we then start to see, you know, a bit more consolidation and things like that. So now, obviously, like I said before, if we lose this level, that's when we could go see 37,500. And again, you know, we do have some structure around here as well. You know, we do have structure here where we did just explode through that structure, started consolidating above it. You know, we do have this kind of like gap in here, that this inefficiency really in the market that could be filled up. We go find this structure here, push through a little bit deeper, find 37,500, and then move back up again from there. So yeah, if the bulls fail to hold 43,750, 37,500 is potentially on the cards. Yes. You know what I haven't looked at? XRP USD. What XRP has been doing lately. XRP in an uptrend, very similar looking price action to what we saw on Bitcoin just now. Let's take a look at the 1 day time frame. 1 day long position on XRP here. I mean, I've got similar thoughts to BTC. I've got really similar thoughts to BTC. If BTC fails to hold the level we're at right now, we're going to see dumps, and we're going to see heavy dumps. We're going to especially see heavy dumps on these, you know, altcoins as well. So, you know, while it does look like it's starting to form a new uptrend, kind of along with BTC, where we could start moving a march to the upside again, it's all about what happens on that BTC market if we hold 43,750. You know, whether we hold key levels or not is really important in general for every market. You know, if we're moving into an uptrend, what we want to see is the bulls breaking key levels, consolidating above key levels, moving to the upside again, breaking, consolidating, breaking, consolidating, breaking, consolidating, right? You know, that is like a steady, strong march to the upside, instead of just like, you know, explosion up, blow off top, huge dump back down, right? You know, a healthy march to the upside is where we're taking levels and consolidating above them. And the same with a downtrend. You know, in a downtrend, if we're taking levels and then consolidating below those levels, you know, that is like a well-established downtrend kind of thing. But yeah, at this stage, you've got to be bullish on XRP. You've got to be starting to think bullish on BTC and bearish on ETH right now. ETH looks a little bit weaker than the other two. So, you know, you might even have a hedge here. You might potentially find a hedge here. Aussie dollar, Japanese yen is currently pushing through the level. It's pushing through, you know, quite deep here. I guess the stop is it already taken, or no? Not yet. Not yet. So if I was in this position right here and I saw this just absolutely clear through this level on the 15-minute time frame, I do know that I've got some structure here protecting my downside, right? So I know that I've got that. I would be absolutely looking to get out at break even. If you're on that 15-minute trade, I'd be looking to get out at break even if I just saw this candle completely nuke through my level with no respect whatsoever, okay? So if you're on that right now, 15-minute trade on Aussie dollar, Japanese yen, I'd be looking to move to break even. And that's about it for the active trades at the moment on the Sonar. Let's check out what's hot, what people are talking about. If you've got any trades, any X mode trades, any Sonar trades, whatever it might be, please throw them into the chat and I'll check them out. Great looking positions here on Euro Pound. You can see obviously this Sonar trade showed up back here. And this is what I mean, like, let's just jump back here and chat about this. So here's our trade, something like that there perhaps, I guess. Yep, something like that right there. Obviously level respected in the past, dump to the downside. We've then got this market kind of consolidating here well below the level. What we want is a really swift move into the level and then a dump back down out to catch our TP1 and 2 around here. And that's basically exactly what we saw at the end of the day. You know, we've got this consolidation, quick move to the upside, punch it in to the entries, and then straight back out again for our TP1 and 2. That's a nice looking extension trade, because you got to think, you know, this is a mean reversion trade. What was the mean looking like for this market? The mean was looking like something from that. There's a deviation away from the mean into that key level for the dump back out to the downside. Okay, so that's kind of price action you want to look for with one of those extension trades. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, 1 hour time frame. Again, we caught a bunch of TP1 and 2s here on that, so that's really good to see. I think this is more like a swing position or something like this. You know, eventually we moved through that level, but that's why we don't take repeated trades. You know, this trade has showed up. It then started repeating off this level over and over and over and over again. Right, something like this here. Started repeating off that level over and over and over again. And, you know, once you have these equal highs being formed like that, the same as equal lows being formed, that's where a market can move through and clean out stop losses. Because you got to think, you know, most likely stop losses are somewhere in this vicinity here. So if these equal lows start to be formed, there's going to be stop losses through there, stop losses through there, all easy pickings for this market to just clean out. Any questions, throw them in. Drop a like on the video as well. Much appreciated if you do that. And yeah, throw in any questions you do have. Did we already talk about pound CAD? I don't think we talked about pound CAD, but you know, overall, 42% uptrend. If this is the best pound and CAD exposure you can find, that right there, this looks pretty reasonable. What I like to see is this, you know, below the level, push above with confidence, bullish engulfing above the level, consolidate above, move back down, retest, continuation, low, higher low, continue on to the upside, right? That's quite nice as well. Another good one on NZD CAD here. So I think it helps a lot if you don't know what price action to look for, to just go through the sonar list like this and just click play on them and see, you know, like what trades worked and what trades didn't. You know what I mean? Like what kind of price action worked and what kind of price action didn't work, and how can I take advantage of that? In Nifty, yeah, the Nifty 50. What is it called here? Is it... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, short position here. 56% downtrend. Looks pretty reasonable. I mean, obviously it's already played out like once. Well, it's already played out probably at least once. This would probably be the second time here. We are pushing out of it really, you know, it looks very weak right now with this move to the downside. So, if you're in this trade, fantastic. If you're not in this trade yet, you could place it, potentially looking for that retest, but be prepared to get out at break even, right? Because it is an index at the end of the day. So, you know, you always got to be prepared on this type of thing to get out at break even if you are short. Euro yen 1 day, please. Hey, Steve, good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining. PK, we got your Euro Yen 1 day time frame trade. Oh, okay. I'm not sure when this trade showed up, but if you're in this trade right now, and you took it a while ago, I'm not sure when it showed up again, I'd probably be looking for break even, right? If you took it, if you placed it when it was here, so let's say you placed this trade when it was like that there. and then it entered, oh, whoops, and then it entered, and then it wicked below, and then it pushed through, and then it went below again. I'd probably be looking to get out of break even on that one right now, to be honest with you, just because this price action doesn't look amazing to me. I'd probably just like look at getting out of break even. I'm not sure whether you're trying to place it now or not, but I probably wouldn't jump into this one. I wouldn't be super keen to jump in on this unless I saw it move up a little bit more and then do something like that right there. Okay, that's where I might look to place this trade, but at this stage I'd probably get out of break even if you were in this trade from before. Euro yen, I took BE. Yeah, good stuff. That's my thoughts as well. Tom, can you give your thoughts on DXY daily, and thank you for the BTC answer. Yeah, no problem. DXY, sure, I can check it out. A cheap BE, closed a little surplus. Very good. Okay, so obviously DXY right now, we have this range forming in here, sideways, weak, choppy market here. Now, really, what's gonna make a big difference here on DXY is what happens again on that S&P 500. Okay. If we see SPX strength, we probably see some DXY weakness. If we see SPX weakness, we probably see DXY strength. In general, you know, really, this could go either direction right now. It really could go either direction. Obviously, bias is long here. You know, obviously our bias is a little bit long, but right now, the longer this consolidation continues, we're basically waiting for a breakout to either side. We could have a break to the upside here. If we have a break to the upside, clear through extension 2, retest there, something like that, then that's the trade. And that's going to obviously dictate what happens in markets around the world. If we push to the downside, then something like that looks like a reasonable trade, and that's going to have a different meaning to markets around the world as well. Sunburnt. Adrian, sunburnt. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I have been in Thailand. I live in Australia. I walk a lot, so in the sun. So potentially, yeah, maybe my face is a little bit sunburnt. I do have like some bright lights like shining straight in my face as well. So yeah, could be anything. But yeah, I do like a lot of walking, so it's like meditative for me. So that could be why I look a bit sunburnt. Not wearing enough sunscreen. But yeah, for me on DXY, it's too hard to really say right now. This is a bit too compressed. I'm waiting for the push to the upside or the push to the downside to make any sort of clear, decisive answer on this one. And sometimes, you know, that's what you got to wait for in trading. You know, you got to wait for the break either way in order to be able to make a decision. Get your final questions in, guys, and then I'll sign off. So you got any more questions, please throw them into the chat. I will answer them, and then I'll sign off for the evening, okay? No worries, I miss sunlight. Oh, do you? What's the story with no sunlight, Adrian? What's the story with no sunlight? You live in like Denmark or something like this, like Asger used to, with no sunlight? But yeah, I mean, I was in Thailand just now, and I live in Queensland, Australia, so, you know, it's always sunny in both those places. So yeah, I've been walking and yeah, getting a lot of sun. Missing your usual background lighting. That's why I asked if you're in quarantine. Oh, I see. No, I just moved into like a different room in the house. I wanted to move into a different room in the house, so that's why I've got a different backdrop here. I'm gonna think of what I can do in terms of that lighting. I just haven't really thought of anything right now. I think I can probably get some like color shining on the wall behind me or something like that. maybe some like red and some green or something like this on the wall behind me. That might look kind of cool. I've got like this little Bitcoin light as well that I could put somewhere. Did you have to go in the sandbox in Phuket? No, I didn't have to go in the sandbox. So yeah, I'm just thinking about how to light this area. How to light this area nicely. But yeah, I miss the lights as well. The lights are nice. I miss them too. They looked really good. No, so Warren, when I went to Thailand, I went under test and go. So you get a test when you're at the airport, and then as long as it tests negative, the result comes back in like 6 to 8 hours. Then you can leave the hotel that you are staying at. XPT USD. Nice looking consolidation here above the level. It has played out a few times already here, Chris. Like, it's definitely played out once already here. But you know, it does look kind of bullish. It does look kind of bullish. Just, you know, obviously forming higher highs and higher lows, push to the upside, consolidation above the really important psychological level of $1,000. Could be it could be an opportunity for a long here for sure. But you know, you could also see a bit of fuckery here where we clean out these stops, and you might get it moving a little bit deeper than what you'd hope before you continue on to the upside as well. Because you've got to remember, the longer this consolidates here, the longer stops form in this area down here, and the market will go and clean out those stops, and you do run the risk of catching that stop loss there. Why so many traders in Thailand? I mean, it's there's some pretty good like tax things in Thailand that you can take advantage of if you have an online income, if you're trading. So that's good. I mean, in general, Thailand is it's a really nice place. It's got good weather in general, and you know, pretty cheap cost of living as well. So yeah, you know, a lot of people, you know, if given the opportunity of, you know, where would you want to live in the world because you kind of work online, a lot of people would say Thailand. So that's probably why there's a lot of traders in Thailand. But yeah, it's also a tax thing as well. And a cost of living thing. Tax and cost of living. But I'm back in Australia now. Back home, which is good. Yeah, it's nice being able to go in between the two, you know. With COVID, you know, going away more and more, you know, there's going to be more and more opportunities to travel between, you know, some different countries, Thailand, Australia, for me, for sure. So it's going to be good. Alrighty, guys. Well, I am going to sign off. I'm going to catch some sleep now. So you guys, thank you very much for joining, all of you. I really do appreciate it. Great to have you all here. And I appreciate all the questions as well. Make sure that, you know, each Wednesday when you come to these live streams, prepared to ask questions, prepared to get involved. Whatever it might be, like I always say, whether it's specific trades you want to talk about, some financial thing, whether it's personal finance, macroeconomics, whatever, cryptocurrency, whatever it might be, I'm always here to answer your finance related questions, as well as questions around specific trades too. So, you know, if you do have any questions, bring them here every Wednesday and I will make sure I look after you. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you all soon, okay? Cheers.